Dear students, welcome to the 8th online lecture of Clinical Pharmacy. In previous lecture we studied secondary sources of information for biomedical and pharmaceutical purposes. In this lecture we will study primary literatures. Primary literature forms the foundation of the literature hierarchy. This type of literature is the source of information for the development of the tertiary and secondary literature resources. Primary literature is classified as original publications and consists of research studies, case reports, editorials, and letters to the editor. Since most of the primary literature contains a detailed description of the study design, methodology, and scientific results, the user can critique and analyze the study and develop one's own conclusion. The primary literature is published within periodical journals and is the most current of the three types of literature. However, publication lag time may be present but not to the same degree as the tertiary literature. An important advantage of presenting the study in a journal format is the peer review process. Peer review journals refer potential articles to peers for review prior to publication acceptance. This process allows other experts to offer an unbiased view of the original research and suggestions to improve the quality of the report. Peer review enhances the validity of the study and the author's conclusions. However, this process may contribute to the lag time of the publication and does not guarantee flawless study result. The primary literature serves as an avenue for timely and original data. The primary literature provides the reader with the details of how the study was conducted and how conclusions were drawn. This allows the reader to analyze and evaluate the methods of the study to determine if they are standard of care for the diagnosis and treatment of the disease and applicable to the patients in the reader's clinical practice. Although the primary literature serves as an avenue for timely and original data, a few disadvantages exist. The possibility of methodology flaws may cause inconclusive or inaccurate findings within the study results and conclusions. In addition, the study may not provide the reader with sufficient information, that is, a narrow view of a topic, or opposing results may be presented within other studies. Therefore, thorough literature evaluation is critical. Furthermore, many institutions and learning centers have limited access to journals because of subscription costs or the ability to store publications due to space constraint. However, the recent advances in information technology has enabled to access vast amount of primary literature without wandering for space. If we compare the three types of literatures, we can say that the primary literature is used to obtain the most recent information available on a topic. Tertiary references should always be consulted for background information and to understand the standard of care for a disease. The primary literature provides detailed information about that study including abstract, introduction, methodology, results, discussions, and conclusions. Whereas, secondary literature is helpful to accomplish a list of all available information on a certain topic. It only provides bibliographic or abstract information as we have seen in previous lecture. The tertiary literature synthesizes a topic that is based on information from various primary and secondary sources of literature. The primary references consist of only studies or original reports of data published in biomedical journals, therefore, not all articles published in journals are considered to be primary references. You remember this example from our 7th lecture that was on secondary literatures. Let's utilize this example again to understand the concept of different literatures. Please note that the information in this example has been synthesized and this does not reflect any real information. You can see that there is an address book of students which has collected two types of information about few students from two secondary sources. One of these sources provides information about address and other provides information about current year of enrollment of students. The actual source of information is students' semester enrollment form. Now you can understand the flow of information and some of the advantages and disadvantages associated with each type of literature. Now come again to our real example of atopic dermatitis. Remember this page from the pharmacotherapy, a pathophysiologic approach. Here we can see that all of information regarding non-pharmacologic treatment is given. One such information is the use of specific clothing, that is, of soft cotton fabrics. We can read this information here. Are you interested to find out more about clothing in atopic dermatitis? Then let's go to a secondary source, that is, Medline or PubMed. Now you can see that our search term for atopic dermatitis clothing brings us multiple articles that might discuss the role of clothing in this disease. These may include clinical studies, observational studies, and review articles. As I have not filtered for any specific type of study here, neither I have used any other filter. Now we decide to read this article, the third in the best match. You must notice that still we are on secondary literature, because we are still not on the full contents of primary literature. Once we decide to access all contents of this study, this secondary service will lead us away from it and to the actual location of the publisher or author. You should remember that this is still a secondary source because it is giving us bibliographic information and abstract. In our last section we discussed how abstract can help us to decide if it is worthwhile to study whole article or not. Now that we have decided to read this article, we can either find the link separately to access this article. Thanks to PubMed, which has given us link to the original location of the article. Let's go and get it. Just notice when we click for the external link, we are no longer on secondary source, instead we are directed to the primary literature. Now we can read all details of this study. We can now learn in detail that how this researcher determined the effectiveness of merino wool on atopic dermatitis. And on what level was this effectiveness? It tells us that exactly what type of garment was used to study the effectiveness of merino wool. It also tells us that exactly which type of patients and with which characteristics were studied, for example, younger patients, adult patients, or older patients, or all population of the patients. I believe that the concept of literatures is clear to you. I hope I have made the concept and information as easy for you as possible. We conclude our lecture here. In our next lecture we will go deep into primary literatures. Thank you and stay blessed.